Welcome back to The Explainer. So today, we're unpacking a short but incredibly powerful narrative from our source text, titled Amira Stands Up for Her Faith. Let's just dive right in, shall we? On the surface, it kind of reads like a simple, heartwarming story about school kids. But actually, when we break down the mechanics of what's really happening here, it is an absolute masterclass in emotional intelligence, in bravery, and really in how to effectively set boundaries when your core identity gets challenged.
So to get us started, I actually want you to put yourself in a really uncomfortable situation for a second. Think about it. How do you react when someone makes fun of something you absolutely love? It's a high-stakes moment, right? Because whether it's a personal hobby, your family background, or a deeply held faith, our immediate human instinct is almost always to do one of two things. We either, shrink away in silence and embarrassment, or we instantly lash out in anger. But today, we're looking at a third option, and it's perfectly modeled by the protagonist of our source text. Section 1. Meet Amira, a cheerful, kind girl. Now, what's super interesting is how the text establishes Amira's baseline character right out of the gate. Just look at these traits. She's naturally cheerful. She's kind. She's clearly not someone out looking for a fight. But crucially, she is deeply, profoundly grounded in her identity. The text explicitly points out that she's proud to be Muslim. She loves her family, loves reading the Quran, and loves learning all about Islam. And these details, they're vital. They show us that her faith isn't just some casual background detail. It's the absolute core of her joy and her self-worth. And when you love something that deeply, well, having it challenged can obviously trigger a massive emotional response. Section 2. The uncomfortable moment, a tense recess.
So the source tells us Amira is just sitting there with her two friends, Emma and Lily, who are not Muslim, and suddenly Emma starts laughing and asks, "Why do you Muslims pray so many times a day?" I want to just pause for effect here. Think about the heavy weight of that moment. That question, it isn't being asked out of genuine, polite curiosity. No way. It's wrapped in a laugh. It's wrapped in mockery. And for someone who loves her faith as much as Amira does, that dismissive laugh instantly changes the whole atmosphere. And before Amira can even fully process what just happened, the pressure immediately dials up. Her other friend Lily giggles and completely piles on, asking, "And why do you have to follow so many rules?" So the absolute crucial point here is that Amira is now feeling cornered. It's 2 against 1. The target is something she holds incredibly dear, and the tone coming from her friends is just entirely disrespectful. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates a classic internal conflict that I think we have all faced at some point. As the text lays out for us, Amira felt uncomfortable. She didn't want to argue. Remember, her baseline is cheerful and kind, right? But she also absolutely didn't want them to make fun of her religion. So how would you navigate this tricky emotional tightrope? Because it is incredibly difficult to stand your ground without completely blowing up a friendship. But let's see how her response builds, because it's something we can all learn from.
Section 3. Setting a boundary, commanding respect. Check out this breakdown derived directly from her actions in the story. It is practically a replicable formula for commanding respect without losing your cool. First, we get the physical shift. Step 1, she sat up straight. She physically changes her posture to project confidence and claim her space. Step 2, she spoke calmly. She just refused to let their giggling dictate her own volume or tone. Step 3, she stated her boundary clearly. She literally said, "You don't have to believe in Islam, but I do." And then finally, step 4, she demanded respect, telling them point blank, "And I think you should respect my religion." It's just incredibly composed and completely assertive. But as it so often happens when you first try to set a boundary in real life, there is immediate pushback. Emma laughs again and says, "Why are you getting so serious?" This is a really critical juncture in the narrative. Setting boundaries almost always requires holding your ground against continued resistance. Emma's basically trying to deflect the tension here by invalidating Amira's feelings, making it seem like, Amira is just overreacting. But Amira absolutely refuses to take the bait. Instead, she delivers this brilliant counter. "Because Islam is important to me. If you don't understand something, you can ask me about it, but making fun of something someone loves isn't kind." I mean, wow, talk about incredible emotional maturity. She instantly recenters the conversation on the basic principle of kindness, and she actually offers her friends a constructive path forward. She's effectively telling them, "Hey, I'm completely open to genuine questions, but I will absolutely not accept unkind mockery." Section 4. The power of empathy, a profound effect. Amira's firm but gentle words have an immediate and profound effect on the dynamic. The source text tells us the girls became quiet.
the giggling just stops. The reality of their unkindness finally lands. And this contrast perfectly illustrates the visual success of Amira's approach. I mean, just look at the stark difference. Before the confrontation, Emma and Lily were laughing, giggling, making insensitive jokes. But after Amira firmly stood her ground, the dynamic completely shifts. Lily apologizes for hurting Amira's feelings, and Emma agrees they should actually learn about it before making jokes. The text even notes that from that day forward, they stopped making fun of her faith entirely and began asking genuine, respectful questions. She literally changed their behavior just by demanding respect. And just as importantly, look at exactly how Amira responds to their apology. She smiles and says, "That's okay. We're all different and that's fine. We can still be friends." She just shows such grace here. And this proves a really vital point. Setting a boundary doesn't have to mean building a permanent hostile wall. You can completely protect your peace and your identity while still leaving the door wide open for friendship and understanding, right after that baseline of respect is established. Section 5. Meaning of bravery. True strength is calm. So the text specifically points out why Amira was so proud of herself at the end of the day. And it's not just that she defended her religion, it is exactly how she did it. Notice what is noticeably absent here. No shouting, no insulting, no cruelty. She didn't have to tear her friends down just to build herself up. And that teaches us that you absolutely do not need to match someone else's negativity with anger or aggression to be strong and proud of who you are. True strength, it can be incredibly quiet and incredibly calm. So, the core lesson of our source text is summarized beautifully right here. Bravery is standing up for what you believe in while still treating others with kindness and respect. It's this delicate, really powerful balance. You completely refuse to let others disrespect you, but you also refuse to compromise your own kindness and character in the process. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought. How can you apply Amira's brand of respectful bravery in your own life today? Think about those uncomfortable moments coming up in your life when your own boundaries might be tested. Just remember Amira's blueprint. Adjust your posture, keep your voice calm, clearly state your boundary, and demand respect, all while keeping that door open for empathy. It is an incredible skill to master. Thanks so much for joining me to explore this story, and I really hope it empowers you to handle your next tricky situation with just a little more clarity and grace. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.